Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of my new vlog service called JD Who Codes. In this episode, JD stands for my name, Jonathan Diaz, but my friends call me JD. You're welcome to call me that as well. My first episode is going to be centering on my experiences with code. I'm going to make an episodic series going through everything I learned from the very beginning on my own, picking up the trade on the websites, and up until very recently with my graduation from Hack Reactor, a very prestigious coding boot camp. And so I'm going to take you through, not where I'm the only one here, but I'm going to take you through everything I've worked on from the very beginning. And the very first instance I began learning, the very beginning I began learning coding on my own through Learn Python the Hard Way. Worked on most of that book, the second edition, I believe. And then I moved on to a website called the Odin Academy, and it's centered in, I believe, in Sweden or Norway. I'm pretty sure Sweden. And they had an online course, online boot camp that's self-paced, that you went through, with you eventually learning Ruby and Ruby on Rails framework and building a full stack application. And I went through almost the entire thing, but this episode is going to center on the initial stuff I built. You're going to see some pretty gnarly code from me self-teaching myself, but that's part of learning how to build something, make something, and it's when you first make it, it's pretty ugly, but then you get pretty good at it. And hopefully you'll see that the progression of my code. My aim here is just to show people my experience, my journey, and where I'm at and where I'm hoping to go, and just kind of help solidify and cement everything I've learned on my own. And so we'll be going through a few apps, not through the whole academy, on this first episode, and then from that we'll go from there. So without further ado, let's get going. All right, I'm back. As I mentioned before, I got my first actual hands-on start outside of Learn Python the Hard Way and a few other, programming knickknacks here, learning the syntax and so on and so forth. After that, I moved on to the Odin project, and the Odin project had a bunch of little projects you can do. It's in a completely online boot camp, and back then the major language was Ruby that it primarily focused on. I think it's still free. I think it's still out there, but this is around 2014-15, I want to say, is when I first started doing the program, the online program they had in earnest. It's completely free. It's self-paced, and so these are the first few projects you work on. The first one here is this Google homepage mock that I built. We can compare it to the original Google. Now obviously this isn't google.com. It's just an HTML CSS markup. That's all it is. And I built this. This was one of my first HTML things I did, and it was really cool, really fun. It was meant to, it looked a little bit different back then, so now that the new this is 2020, so Google has changed a little bit. Here's the modern take on it. The next project I made was this Etch-a-Sketch using jQuery. So you just mouse over it and you draw. Here we go. Check it out. It's pretty cool. Clear board. And so here's the code, and what it does is as you enter an element, so it's a bunch of elements, and I believe the size I made it by was, here it is. The count is 37, 35. Excuse me, I just ate. The size is, anyway, upon entering, you add a class to set element, which is a unit on the board, and that changes it in here in the CSS into black. And that's basically what we're doing. I have a few other functions here that, you have the clear button that redoes everything, and then clear resize. I used to have the functionality to set a size for the Etch-a-Sketch, but I found that if you made it too big, it really slowed down the browser, and eventually it would crash. And if you made like 1,000 by 1,000 or 10,000 by 10,000, and it just wasn't a good time. So I have it set here. Like I said, these were my very early projects. Close that out. Etch-a-Sketch. We're gonna go on to the calculator I made, and this is using JavaScript. 81 clear, awesome. 32 times 96 equals 372 clear. Very, very simple stuff. But when I made them, I felt like a divine being. It was great. Especially this one. This one was a lot of fun. But I don't want to look at my code because I know it's freaking ugly. Oh, what was I doing? Ooh, look at this. This is just pure JS. Straight up JS. Here are addition, subtraction methods. I think I altered the code here. No, why is that 5 there? Ooh, I don't know. These are old, man. These are so old. I can't believe I'm seeing some of this stuff. It's actually really cool. I'm trying to get the ASMR. This thing working. That's an outtake. I'm gonna leave it in there though. I don't care. You're gonna get the full real deal Jonathan. This is him. This is him being. Anyway, so if we can see here we're calling our function here. That split. Oh, it's looking for the key here. I should redo this. God, it's ugly, man. I'm doing this so I can get some people to notice me, but sweet baby Jesus. This is actually pretty cool though. I mean, this is just pure raw JavaScript. I'm so used to working with React and Node and nowadays and other libraries. It's actually cool to see it play with, to manipulate the DOM directly like this. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I want to keep these videos kind of short, or these episodes. Next application I built is my Packabook. Now this program I wrote in Ruby. It's pure Ruby, and what it is back when I thought I knew a little something. Don't look at this yet. Back when I thought I knew a little something, I was started applying for jobs. I was just like, let's just see how it goes. And one of the jobs I applied to actually sent me a coding challenge. Now, let me rewind a little bit. So I got the coding challenge. And the coding challenge asks you get a product page from Amazon.com. It's a full markup Amazon.com web page. I gotta figure out the perfect adjustment for this mic here at some point. I don't like it's right in my way. I can't see. Like, things in my way. Y'all can see me, but I can't see y'all. Anyway, and so you have full-blown Amazon web page, multiple. Yeah, they gave you 20 or 30, and it looks just like Amazon.com, fully like it, just not deployed. It's just a raw web page, and you need to traverse it, looking for certain. You have to traverse each one. You have to categorize each one. So you have to find out how many books can you put in one package, and it goes by weight. And then, yeah, you have to find the most efficient way to pack as many books into as many packages as possible, and then calculate the totals for each one. Now, this was back when I thought I knew something, and looking back on it now and just thinking about it now, because I haven't looked at this project since I wrote it. It's essentially a knapsack problem with DOM tree traversal. And so that's what they were looking for. Because I sent this project in, I was so happy. I thought I did my best. I was able to get X amount of books into, X amount of packages. I'm like, I think I knew it wasn't the most efficient way because I just didn't have the know-how. But now that by the time, I was pretty excited about it. And Packabook is a fully operates in command line interface. So we have here, we initialize, and this is written in Ruby. I haven't looked at Ruby in a very long time, but this was when I was learning Ruby. And what it's basically doing is, see here, we're taking the files. They give you the files. So it's about 20 or 30 Amazon files, and then for each file, I basically just took from every unit. I basically essentially hard coded. It was looking for specific keywords in the HTML file. Like, oh man, don't worry. I mean, there's gonna be more episodes of this, and this is not gonna be an issue. But right now, it's bugging the crap out of me. And so you can see here, I haven't looked at this code in a very long time, but you see here where wait query wait delete. Basically, I'm collecting all this stuff. And you're supposed to output it, I think, in a JSON file Send a sort, and here's my sort method. Yeah, it's basically it's a knapsack problem algorithm, and I just didn't know anything about algorithms. It's just that's something I'm still working on, but looking back and thinking about this project, now I know how to go about it, basically, and that's what they're looking for. So I didn't fulfill this at all. I never heard from them again. I felt really sad. I was really bummed because I worked on this thing for like a week, and I was like, hey, it's working. It's doing what I wanted to do, and I never heard from them. It hurt my feelings. Something Analytica, I forgot who. Anyway, and so, yeah, here's my sorter method. Book sorted in Pat, all on the command line. I could probably still run it. Maybe I might later. I might just take another whack at it, actually. Send it to them like 5 years later. Hey, dude, look, I know now. Anyway, and so then this just kind of puts everything together, and here's the JSON file. Yeah, it puts it into a JSON file, writes to it. Dang, I can't believe I did all this on my own. I mean, not knowing the algorithms is, one thing for sure, but I knew how to open the files. I was bringing the files in. I was traversing them in my own way, in the best way I knew how. Dang. Memories took me back, but yeah, here's the file. I might take another whack at it. I don't know, I got a million things to do nowadays on top of applying for jobs, and so that's Pack-a-Book. That's one of the other, that one was just kind of a subjoiner that wasn't part of the code camp. Pack-a-Book, and then go away, you see here, and then then I made this little portfolio page here. It's nothing special. I'll show it to y'all. This has all my projects, which I'm eventually gonna go over everything here. Oh, look at that. How do you edit videos? Google answers all things. J Diaz. There we go. And so I'm gonna close this episode 1 of this series here with this last bit here, and this is my deployed portfolio site I made when I finished the Odin bootcamp. I for the most part I finished it. Oh, look at that. Oh, look kind of nice. Has a bunch of projects, a bunch of node projects I worked on. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it for y'all, but we're gonna get back to it. Ruby developer, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. Like I said, I mentioned I'll be making another video. I'll be making another episode, which is gonna go further into the other projects with Ruby, with the Odin bootcamp, and it's gonna show you. I'm gonna show you when I made a Ruby chess game from scratch. It's completely within the command line. I should be able to play it and run it. And then I also made a full stack blogging application, fully deployed via Heroku, called the Hamiltonian. That one's written with Ruby and Ruby on Rails. So pretty excited. We'll be making episode 2 soon here, and we'll be good to go. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Take it easy.